Hello, everybody. How are you doing? It's Let's see if we have anybody coming in today. Again, I'm Laura Brickson, and I'm the principal of St. Bernard's School, and this is St. Bernard's Books with Mrs. Brickson, and it is Thursday, 3/26/20, the 26th of March. Yes, and so this is going to be. I'm not even sure. I can't remember if this is number 7, possibly. I'm starting to be confused about my dates. So it's great to see people. Oh, there's a bunch of people joining all at once. Yes. Okay, we see Scrivens have joined, Raths, Novaks, Ricos. Hi, guys. I got Reading is My Favorite Sport t-shirt on today. And as you can see by the doodads I have behind me, I'm at home. So I'm going to straighten this out. Oh. It is so good to see everybody. This is one of my favorite times of day. Oh, I see that Axel's in the house. Hi, Axel. And hopefully this is a good time for you too, to be able to chat a little bit things on the side, that you're able to communicate with each other as well. And we are zipping through our book. So we're going to wait just a little bit longer. Yeah, it is Axel. We're going to wait just a little bit longer to make sure that we get everybody on. I got my favorite mug again. So, let's see what has been happening lately. Yesterday was a busy day. So yesterday, you might have heard, and parents, I did send out an email, and I also posted it on our Facebook site. We're going to be extending it, school being done until May 4th. So that is a solid 5 weeks, and which is going to be okay. We can get through this. And I remember the flood of 1997 in East Grand Forks and Grand Forks, and there was water everywhere, and the whole town got moved. In fact, my parents had to come and live with us for 6 weeks. And it was kind of a scary time, and a lot of people lost their houses and all of their things. But you know what? Now, Grand Forks, East Grand Forks is back, and it's even better than ever. So that will be for us too. We don't have to worry about, hopefully, having flood waters come in with our houses. We just have to make sure we don't get bored, and we can go and have fun. So we're going to get through this. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be good. We're just going to be all in this together. So I see we have some more people that came. Aurora's come. Oh, hello, Cassidy. Hi. Hannah. My daughter Hannah's on. Okay, Hannah, you need to have a comment. You need to send your mama a comment. Oh, I was supposed to see her yesterday and I couldn't. Oh my goodness. I really, you're going to make me all teary, Hannah. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and start. We got to start with our song, right? Because remember, we're out there to go make a difference in the world. Oh, Aurora says hi. Here we go. Oh, hold on. We don't have any volume. Technology. Sorry, Mrs. Brickson. Okay. Make sure you sing along, guys. Remember the motions? So when we come back, you're all going to do the motions in mass, right? Here we go. 6, 7. All right. So let's begin. And we also have, for us today, we have to have our joke of the day. Let's see. Oh, goodness. See, technology. Our joke of the day. How does a penguin build its house? How does a penguin build its house? It glues it together. It glues it together. Get it? Penguin? Igloo. It glues it together. Okay. It wasn't the funniest joke, but it was a good joke. Remember again, if for some reason you miss out on any of these story times, you can come and check out my playlist. http://bit.ly/bit.ly/ it's St. Bernard's Books with Mrs. Brickson, but notice it's the letters. Now remember, some are capitalized and some are small. Okay, that does make a difference when you're going online. So with that, it's so good to see all of you. Oh, and we got Beth Sears joined. All right. Oh, and I see Axel came in from playing baseball. Hey, I'm glad that you went outside. That's awesome. We are going to get started, you guys. Chapter 8. There's 9 chapters. This is chapter 8. Here we go. Hold on. Two or three times a year, all the herdmans would be absent at the same time. And it was like a vacation. You knew you wouldn't get killed at recess, you wouldn't have to hand over your lunch, and you wouldn't have to hide your money if you had any. We even had easy lessons when they were absent. Boomer Malone said the teachers did that on purpose to give us all time to heal and to get our strength back. But my mother said it was probably the teachers who had to get their strength back. Nobody knew why they were absent. Nobody cared. They didn't have to bring a note from home like everybody else to say what was the matter. Why bother? The school nurse told my mother. They would write it themselves and nobody could read it. It would be a lie. Besides, if they ever did have something contagious, they wouldn't stay at home. They'd come here and they would breathe on everybody. You never knew when they would be absent either, but nobody thought this made any difference until they're all absent on a fire drill day. And our school won the fire department's Speed and Safety Award. I can't believe the improvement, the fire chief said. Last time it took you 34 minutes to vacate the building. What happened? You know what happened, Mr. Crabtree said. We lost half the kindergarten. Ollie Herdman led them out a basement door and took them all downtown. I mean, what happened this time? Nothing happened this time, Mr. Crabtree said, because Ollie isn't here. Neither is Ralph or Imogene or Leroy or Claude or Gladys. Where are they? They're absent, Mr. Crabtree said. The chief sighed. I thought maybe they moved away. Oh, well, he sighed again and said, in that case, I better get back to the firehouse to be ready for anything. Everybody was pretty excited about the Speed and Safety Award because we had never won anything before and probably never would again until the last herdman was gone from Woodrow Wilson School. So far, though, we could only be excited about the honor of it because we wouldn't get the actual award until Fire Prevention Day. There was a Fire Prevention Day every year, but all we ever got were Smokey the Bear stickers, and so this was a big step up. There'd be a special assembly with the fire chief and the mayor there, and the newspaper would send someone to take pictures and interview kids about fire prevention. Of course, fire prevention was the last thing the Herdmans knew anything about, except to be against it, I guess. So you had to hope for the reporter wouldn't pick on one of them to interview. You had to hope they wouldn't show up for this big event wearing beer advertisement t-shirts. You had to hope that they wouldn't even show up. Maybe they won't, Charlie said. Maybe if they don't even know we won the award. It's true that the Herdmans didn't know much if you could count things like who invented the telephone, but they always knew what was going on around them, which in this case was plenty. There were signs and posters about fires and firemen everywhere. All the blackboards said, Woodrow Wilson Elementary School, Speed and Safety winner. Kids were making bookmarks and placemats and writing poems and stories about our big accomplishment. We didn't even have hot dogs or hamburgers at lunch. We had fire dogs and smoky burgers. How could the Herdmans miss all this? They didn't. Somebody in the second grade brought in this great big stuffed bear. and they stood up in the hall with the sign around its neck. Smokey says congratulations to the Woodrow Wilson School. And the very next day, there was the bear with its paws full of matches and cigarette lighters and firecrackers in its lap and a half-smoked cigar sticking out of its mouth. Smokey, the firebug bear. Oh, that's so disgusting, Alice said. What if somebody reports it to the fire department? We might not even get the award. As usual, they're going to mess everything up and ruin the whole assembly, hitting people and tripping people and folding little kids up in the seats. I guess Mr. Crabtree came in the back door that day and didn't know what had happened to the bear, because the first announcement was all about the outstanding fire prevention display by the second grade. I want every student to stop by the second grade room and see our very own Smokey the Bear, he said. And let's be sure to thank those second graders for this. There's some whispers and the thump as somebody put a hand over the microphone, but you could still hear voices in a few words. Matches? Horrible wet cigar. Get rid of that bear. Then the secretary, Mrs. Parker, got on and shuffled some papers and said, Mr. Crabtree has been called away suddenly, and she would finish the announcements. Picture money was due on Friday, and Flintstone's lunchbox had been left on bus 4. There would be a meeting of the fire safety team in the lunchroom after school. Right away, Alice wrote this down on a piece of paper as if she had so many important engagements that she had to write them all down. Imogene poked me. What's the fire safety team? It's for the assembly, I said. It's some kids who are going to demonstrate what to do in case of a fire. Imogene shrugged. Throw water on it and get out of the way, she said. And then she squinched up her eyes. What kids? Who's on this team? I was going to say, I don't know, or who cares, or something so loose that Imogene wouldn't want to waste her time. But as usual, Alice had to blow her own horn. I am, she said. There are 10 of us, plus 2 alternates in case somebody gets sick on the last minute. It's not unusual for people to get sick at the last minute if they're mixed up with the Herdmans. So that got Imogene's attention. But it wasn't enough to hold her attention till Alice said, we're going to have our own T-shirts that say Fire Safety Team, Woodrow Wilson School, so we'll all look alike in the picture. I didn't even bother to say, shut up, Alice. It was too late. You could tell that Imogene had already seen herself in the Fire Safety T-shirt and in the picture, and there was only one thing that you didn't know for sure. Who, besides the alternates, was going to get sick at the last minute? Naturally, Imogene wasn't the only herdman who showed up in the lunchroom after school. They were all there. They were all there, slouching around, all ready for action, draped over the tables and the benches, and scraping gum from underneath the benches, chewing it hard enough to tear your teeth out. There was at least one kid from every grade on the fire safety team, and they all had one eye on the herdmans. So Mr. Crabtree couldn't just ignore them, which is probably what he wanted to do. School's over, Ralph, Mr. Crabtree said. Imogene, Ollie, unless you people have some reason to be here, it's time to go home. We're just having a meeting. We came to sign up, Ralph said. Sign up for what? This is the fire safety team. Right, said Leroy. We want to sign up for that. It was in the announcements, Gladys put in, about the meeting after school. Mr. Crabtree opened his mouth, and then he shut it again, because there wasn't anything he could do about this. He made it a major rule that anybody at the Woodrow Wilson School could sign up for anything they wanted to, no exceptions. And he made another rule that everybody had to sign up for something, whether they wanted to or not. So you had kids who signed up for 2 or 3 things, you had kids who signed up for everything, and you had kids who wouldn't sign up at all until their teacher or their mother or Mr. Crabtree made them be in something. What you didn't have was the herdmans signing up for anything. until now. My mother said it was a good idea for the Herdmans to be on the fire safety team. Who needs to know more about fire safety than those kids, she said. Some people said at least this way you could keep an eye on them during the assembly. My father said it was like inviting a lot of bank robbers to demonstrate how to rob the bank. 3 kids quit the fire safety team right away before anything could happen to them. But their mothers thought that they should get the t-shirts anyway in view of the circumstances. Mr. Crabtree knew the circumstances they were talking about. Herdmans. So he didn't even mention that. He just said he didn't have anything to do with the t-shirts. That's up to the PTA, he said. The PTA is providing t-shirts for the fire safety team in honor of this special occasion. The president of the PTA said they weren't providing t-shirts for kids who quit the fire safety team. Mrs. Wendelkin said, they better not be providing t-shirts for the Herdmans who had muscled their way on to the fire safety team. Anybody could talk about with t-shirts. But I agree with Charlie, who said he wouldn't be on this fire safety team even if you paid him. Not even for 50 t-shirts. I watched them practice, he said, and when Mr. Crabtree yells, drop and roll, all the Herdmans drop on somebody, like in football. They dropped on Albert Pelfrey and nearly squashed him flat, which really wasn't all bad because, as I said, Albert is this really fat kid. But Albert quit the fire safety team anyway. I've got enough trouble just being fat, he said. I don't want to be fat and dead both. At the last minute, 2 girls got sick, or said they did. And right away, both the alternates quit, which didn't surprise anybody. Oh, you don't want to quit, Mr. Crabtree told them. This is a big opportunity. He meant it was a big opportunity to take part in Fire Prevention Day and get a t-shirt and have their picture taken. But it was also a big opportunity to get pounded 2 feet into the ground by the Herdmans. I can only be an alternate, Roberta Scott said. I can't actually be in it or anything. Roberta, that is what an alternate is, Mr. Crabtree said. It is your responsibility to be in it and everything. You too, Lonnie. Lonnie Hutchinson was the other alternate, and he had to quit because of asthma. Nice try, Lonnie, Mr. Crabtree said, but you don't have asthma. I know who has asthma, and I know who has pink eye and poison ivy and athlete's foot, and also coughs and colds and nervous stomachs. Mr. Crabtree didn't mention any other diseases, and when Lonnie's mother called the school to say that Lonnie was sick with a rash, Mr. Crabtree didn't believe it. Too convenient, he said. It's probably finger paint or magic marker, something like that. 2 or 3 weeks ago, I saw Leroy Herdman walking around with red spots all over his face, looking for trouble, and I just told him, Leroy, go wash your face. And the next time I saw him, all the spots were gone. But it wasn't finger paint on Lonnie. It was chicken pox. And before you could say Speed and Safety Award Assembly, there wasn't anybody left to go to it. Mr. Crabtree wanted to postpone Fire Prevention Day, but the fire chief, he couldn't do that. It's Fire Prevention Day all over town, he said, all over the state. You just can't have your own Fire Prevention Day whenever you want to. I'll tell you what, though. If you could get together a small group of whatever kids you've got, your fire safety team would be good, and bring them down to the firehouse. We'll have an award presentation right there, and we'll make it a big event. It turned out to be a bigger event than anybody expected, because the pizza parlor ovens caught fire a half an hour before the presentation. They put the fire out right away, but Mr. Santoro made all of his customers leave because of the smoke. And then most of them just followed the fire engine back to the firehouse and stayed for the presentation. Some people thought the fire was part of the presentation, especially when Mr. Santoro showed up with all of his leftover pizza and handed it out for free. Everybody says that this was a great way to advertise the fire prevention, and they congratulated the mayor and the fire chief for thinking it up. And the fire chief congratulated Mr. Santoro for donating the pizza. The newspaper reporter got it all wrong, too. Mock fire staged to highlight Fire Prevention Day, he wrote. Restaurant owner contributes pizza for large crowd attending awards ceremony. School students honored for safety techniques. The honored students were what was left of the fire safety team. Ralph, Imogene, Leroy, Claude, Ollie, and Gladys. And there was a picture of them standing in front of the fire truck looking like a police lineup. You can imagine an officer saying, "Now, which one did it?" And the victim saying, "I can't be sure. They all look alike." They did look alike, except for being different sizes. Plus, of course, they had on the famous matching t-shirts. "If I didn't know better," Mother said, "I would think that this was the Herdmans being honored instead of the school." This turned out to be the general opinion, and so many people called the newspaper to complain that they printed another story. Woodrow Wilson School, despite chickenpox epidemic, wins Speed and Safety Award. Which my father said was better than nothing, but not much. What does chickenpox have to do with it? He wanted to know. But my mother said he was just tired of watching Charlie and me scratch. Mrs. Wendelkin made Alice sit in a bathtub full of baking soda water so she wouldn't scratch, and made her wear these white cotton gloves so she wouldn't scratch. And when Alice came back to school, besides having puckery, seersuckery skin, she was still wearing the gloves. "I don't think that's necessary, Alice," Miss Kemp said. "I have to wear them while I'm thinking," Alice told her, "so I won't forget and scratch. If you scratch chickenpox, they'll get infected and leave scars." "Not on Leroy," Imogene said. "Not on Ollie. Not on—" "Wait a minute," Miss Kemp said. "Leroy? Ollie? I wasn't aware that any of your family was absent during our epidemic." "Oh, we weren't absent." Miss Kemp frowned. "But you had said you had the chickenpox." "You mean, did I have the chickenpox?" Imogene said. This was like talking long distance to my grandmother without her hearing aid. And just like my grandmother, Miss Kemp didn't try to pin it down. "If you have chickenpox, you can't come back without a note from the doctor," she said. And Imogene said, "Oh, okay." And she got up and left. So no one ever knew for sure whether they did actually have chickenpox, or how many of them had chickenpox, or exactly when they had chickenpox. And no one ever knew for sure whether or not they came to school and breathed on everybody and ruined our big award assembly, or whether they were all sick and stayed at home in the fire drill day, so we won the award in the first place. And that's the end of chapter 8. We only have one chapter left. Oh my gosh, you guys. I just love this story. For those of you who are interested in other adventures of the Herdmans, by Barbara Robinson, they also have the best/worst Christmas pageant ever. It's a short one. It's all about a Christmas pageant. And Imogene being Mary, the mother of Jesus. Just imagine that. They also have another one, which is the best Halloween ever, and it's all about the beginning of the school year and Halloween. So there's actually 3 books about the Herdmans and Beth Bradley. So with that, remember, if for some reason you have missed out, please write that down so you can go back. If you come in late, you can always go and go back to this, and I'll probably have it up in a little bit. But that being said, we're going to have to go and get our dancing shoes on. Okay? We got to get our dancing shoes on. Hold on a second. So stand up. Everybody stand up. Everybody stand up. Axel, are you standing up? I don't know if you are. How about Kendall, are you standing up? Oh, I see Carol is on. Carol Amundsen. Do you think Carol should stand up and dance with us? Do you think? If you think so, once you hit the the like or the smile button if you think Carol. Let's vote. Should Carol stand up and join us? Come on, Carol. It's what I can do to tease you a little bit.
You've spent hours.
You can see if anyone's gonna reply. Hold on a second. Ah, yes, look at all those. Here we go. You see, oh yes, I'm on a little bit delay, but yes, it was great. We were able to see Carol. She's gonna have to text us, but this is called All About Those Books. It's called All About Those Books. Okay, see, this is me. I'm trying to. You're kind of like flipped around. So let's take a look here. Come on.
Because you know I'm all about those books, start reading. I'm all about those books, start reading. I'm all about those books, start reading. I'm all about those books. Yeah, it's pretty clear that I'm really cool because I'm reading. It's what I like to do because I got that fiction that everyone's chasing. All of these books take you so many places. I see those magazines, they make reading hot. They're great when time is short and you can even swap. If you got books or Kindles, just raise them up because anything you read is perfect from the start until the stop. Yeah, Devon said she told me don't worry about the size. She says good readers like lots of books to read a night. You know I won't be no close-minded, blank-looking Barbie doll. So if that's what you're into, then go ahead and move along. Because you know I'm all about those books, start reading. I'm all about those books, start reading. I'm all about those books, start reading. I'm all about those books, Hey, I'm bringing reading back. Go ahead and check out that gigantic stack. Nah, I'm not joking. I know you think it's smack, but I'm here to tell you every book is an adventure. Makes you never want to stop. Yeah, Devon said she told me don't worry about the size. She says all readers like lots of books to read a night. You know I won't be no close-minded, blank-looking Barbie doll. So if that's what you're into, then go ahead and move along. Because you know I'm all about those books, start reading. I'm all about those books, start reading. I'm all about those books, start reading. I'm all about those books, Because you know I'm all about those books, start reading. I'm all about those books, start reading. I'm all about those books, start reading. I'm all about those books, Because you know I'm all about those books, start reading. I'm all about those books, start reading. I'm all about those books, start reading. I'm all about those books, Because you know I'm all about those books, start reading.
I'm not sure if this song's going to end. Okay. I wasn't sure if that song was going to end. Anyway, hey, it has been a joy to hang out with you today. I love all of you so much. Please get outside again Saturday. It's going to be like 53 degrees. See what you can do to go make a difference in the lives of somebody else. Improve your life somewhat, either in your own life or in your family's life, your neighbors, your world. See what we can do. So anyways, have a wonderful day. I miss you, and I will see you tomorrow. Love you guys. We'll see you.